Welcome to Awakened Insight Keys, where we explore the depths of hidden knowledge, making complex ideas easy to understand and apply to everyday life. If you're a student of metaphysics, esoteric wisdom, or the power of the subconscious mind, you're in the right place. Here we condense rare and valuable teachings into digestible insights, giving you the tools to expand your awareness and transform your reality. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment of enlightenment.
Doesn't make any difference. All you are is a smart Cain, but you're still Cain. But when you've given it, and there is no more intelligence, then you're starting to give that which is holy, and then which comes pouring back is the wind that comes from the east, the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding. And you want. Do you want to say something?
Something that jumped out at me from verse 3 and 4 in Genesis. It says, in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground. Time. What we've talked about time, and in the spirit there is no time and place, but in Cain in the physical there was time, evidence of time.
Exactly. That's
experience.
Good. Very good. So you saw, that's it. And you're going to see a lot of things. I'm not going to go line by line. You're going to see a lot of things. I'm just trying to give you an idea what you're looking at. See, you're not reading the Bible. Rip the cover off. Don't really do it, but rip the cover off. You're not reading a Bible. You're reading a course in listen to me, you're reading a course in cosmic psychology. All allegorically written, and all of the characters in the play portray parts of your mind, your brain, your system, your body. Okay? The firstborn. So, Abel sacrifices the natural part. And it says in Genesis 4, for the Lord had respect unto Abel, but not unto Cain. Now let me show you something. Here you've come. Here you've come. You've come into the meditation. You sat down one night and you sacrificed your firstborn. You sacrificed yourself. You've sacrificed your thoughts. You've sacrificed your ideas. You say, boy, you come up to me and you say, that was a great meditation. I really got a lot. I just feel so tremendous. And then I never see you again. And you know, I know what happened. Cain met you out in the field and he killed you. That which is the lower part is always there, friends. It will never die. When creation, when heaven, when all is consummated, it will always be there. Because if that's not there, you'll never have a reason to know that you should grow. If that's not there, you'll never have a reason to know that something's not right. It's like the red light. Sometimes you don't like to be stopped by the red light. If you look at the first page, and you're to go into the actual ancient language of the Bible, in the original language, the name of the divine entity is Elohim. 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 And what Elohim is the plurality, however you spell it, it's two, okay? And Elohim means male and female, okay? Male and female created him and called their name Adam, which is Elohim. So we prove by this introduction the creation of energy, male and female, which is atom, Elohim, that which is the kundalini, which rises up the spiritual feminine energy that rises up and touches it. And we further prove our scientific thesis about this, that the energy is multiplied. Now here's an interesting thing. If you take an atom, all right, and you remove from that atom an electron, you then begin to multiply the energy. It's called splitting the atom. When we split an atom, you multiply the energy. That's the way this happens in these things.
As we begin to explore this, it's essential to recognize that what we're about to uncover isn't a literal interpretation of ancient texts. Instead, it's a guide to understanding the deeper evolution of consciousness. This journey is one of unlocking the hidden messages behind creation, starting with the understanding of duality, the balance of male and female energies as represented in the divine. Let's now dive into the true meaning behind Elohim, a term that reflects this profound balance.
And once you get to that point that it's not a literal story, then you look at it and say, if it isn't literal, what do all of these things mean? Look, you can't look at this thing about God creating stars and God creating water and God creating the earth and God creating birds and all of these things and say that's literal, but the point about the talking snake and they didn't know they didn't have any clothes on, that's not literal. It either is one thing or it's not. So the entire context then has to be that this is an evolution of something. And as we go along, you'll find out it's an evolution of you. It's an evolution of consciousness. Okay. And that's what basically this is. Has nothing to do with the physical creation. Has to do with the creation that is the evolution of ourselves. And in that way, it becomes extremely important. The place where you struggle through the Monday of your life, and the Tuesday of your life, and the Wednesday of your life, and the Thursday of your life, and your Friday of your life, and your Saturday of your life, and finally you get to the Sunday of your life, and the Sunday of your life is the S-U-N day of your life, which is the pineal gland of the brain, which throws open the kingdoms of the East inside of you, and there is life exploding, all new, all color, all excitement.
Now that we've uncovered the hidden balance within creation, it's time to expand our understanding beyond the physical. What if creation wasn't just a physical act, but an ongoing evolution of consciousness? This idea transforms how we view ancient stories like the one of Adam and Eve. Adam, or Adam, symbolizes the beginning of all life, not just in a physical sense, but as the spark of mental and spiritual evolution. Let's now explore how this allegory reflects our own journey of growth.
There's one interesting point, too. If you look in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, this is talking about the creation of the stars. Gosh. Let there be lights in the firmament, and let them be for signs. It's in the Bible. That's what it's for. However you want to go with it, that's what it's for. Because much of this falls in the form of allegory. We're going to highlight, we're going to hit those things that are key, things that you've experienced in the past and understand in the past. And then together we'll try to look at them and see, gee, you know, what is this that I'm looking at? What is this all about? Okay. So one of the first things we're going to run into as we look at the, quote, evolution of ourselves and the evolution of life and creation and so forth, is a person by the name of Adam. This is going to be the first person. Okay. Now, in understanding this Adam, we have to go back to that story of the masturbation as it was framed of God in Memphis, Egypt, in which the seed spilled from God, and the first man who then came into being was named Atom. And here then we have Atom as the source of what we know, the center of all life, which is Adam. Now we're starting to see something that makes sense. The beginning of everything is Atom, and then conveyed in an allegorical sense in an English Bible by the name Adam. It's the same thing. Whether you call it Adam, A-D-A-M, or Adam, A-T-O-M, it's the same thing. But what's being spoken of at the time is that the source of all life in the primordial way was the atom. Okay, and so that's what we have. And what you're going to see as we develop then is the development from that which is the very beginning of the atom into that which then incorporated into it the mental process, which is Eve, and then the complexities of it as the two start to struggle with the left and the right side. The mental starts to struggle with the physical in the inclusion of Cain and Abel and all of that kind of business. Okay, so that's where we're at.
As we reflect on creation as an inner evolution, we turn to the powerful journey each of us must undertake. This journey begins with the activation of the pineal gland, the center of higher consciousness, and the unlocking of the 7 chakras within us. As we move through life, from its mundane struggles to the enlightening Sunday of spiritual awakening, we find that our true potential lies within. Let's now explore this path toward inner joy and peace.
And so in the Dark Ages, they got rid of the Mother God. They killed the Mother Elohim, and we are left with the word God. I'm telling you that in the original language, the name of the divine creator is Elohim, which means male and female. And it was deliberately removed and replaced with a non-entity by the name of God. Because women are not in any way, shape, or form to be able to be a part of that which we call the divine creator. Cain has nothing in common with Abel. Those which are the divine part of the right side of you have nothing in common with that which is the left side, the carnal side. Okay? And so then, here we have the importance. I've given the first part. I've given myself. I've given my thoughts, I've given my mind. You say, what the heck does it make any difference? Whether you study under somebody, what difference does it make if you go to a conference or a seminar? What difference does it make if you go to all of these places and you've still got this? It means tiller of the soil. Your mind is the soil. Your mind is the earth. What you dig out, your own ideas, is Cain. Religion is Cain. This is my idea. This is our idea. This is our way to get to God. That which is the system, whatever it is, whatever techniques you're digging out of your own mind is Cain, the tiller of the soil. You know what Abel means? Keeper of the sheep. Sheep are divine thoughts. Keep your eyes on the sheep.
With the awakening of higher consciousness, we inevitably face an internal struggle, the battle between Cain and Abel. These biblical figures represent two forces within us, our earthly desires and our divine potential. This struggle is a key part of our spiritual evolution, reminding us that growth comes from overcoming the lower parts of ourselves. Now let's delve into the meaning behind this inner conflict and what it teaches us about our path to spiritual enlightenment.
Okay. That's the subtle, clever serpent that's referred to here. It's the portrait of the human spine, the portrait which represents that which is your physical aspect. Okay. This is the part that talks to you and tells you all of these things that you should and you should not do. So Eve, then becoming the mind, is tempted by that which is the flesh, the physical part. You always get these feelings, don't you? The feelings come from this lower part. You got this feel inside of you. And when you got this feeling inside of you, you get an idea of how I am going to carry out what I feel. Eve gets the idea from the serpent. Haven't you ever been talked to by the serpent? Certainly you have. You feel it all the time. It's time to eat the apple. Nobody, except on very rare occasions, turns the serpent down. It can be anything. It can be anything. Do you know when I open the refrigerator, I've given up ice cream. Do you know when I open the refrigerator and Joan has this cookies and cream ice cream? Do you know what the serpent says? Aha! They say you shouldn't eat the forbidden cookies and cream. Ha ha ha! Go ahead. And I know if I eat it, something will happen. I'll be in bad favor with God. The heck with God. I'm eating it because the serpent said eat. Do you understand what this is all about? Huh? I got a feeling. That's the serpent. That's what's being said here. Don't trust that which comes from the left side, because more often than not, well, you can see the condition of the world. Now, let me show you something in Genesis chapter 3. Look at verse 11, okay? Here's what God talking to our heroes. Who told you you were naked? Who told you you were naked? You know how important that is? What's being said there is, I didn't say there was anything wrong with you. Who said you're guilty? Who said you're not doing what's right? Who told you? Who made up something that I never told you? I never said there was anything bad or anything sinful or anything that you should be guilty. Who told you that there was something wrong with the way you are? The serpent. The lower part, the mind part. And who told you all of your life that you're guilty? The serpent. The religions of the world, the institutions of the world, the churches of the world. And they have kept you all of your life running around hiding, looking for fig leaves to cover every bit of you that you felt was exposed. And that God yells out to say, who the hell told you? Who are you listening to?
As we understand the inner conflict between Cain and Abel, we must also recognize the temptations we face along the way. The serpent in the Garden of Eden symbolizes the lower mind, the voice that tries to pull us away from our higher purpose. These temptations arise from the physical, but it's our task to recognize them for what they are and rise above them. Let's now explore the role of the serpent and how its influence plays out in our daily lives.
You got to be cleansed. you got to move into the second stage of consciousness, which is water. There's got to be a baptism. And so it says in the Bible, God brings a flood. And then we go into the Noah story, which is actually the movement of the lower mind to the second stage of consciousness, which is earth, which is water. And from that point, you'll rise up to the mountaintop, and you'll be in the air, and then you'll be touched by that which is the fire. And that's what the Bible says, and that's what the song says. I'm not going to destroy it by water anymore. In this age of Aquarius, you're not going to be hit again by water. You're going to rise above the order. It won't be water, but fire next time. It won't be the second stage of consciousness. You will have evolved to the fourth stage of consciousness. Huh? And so then the Bible here says, now we begin the story of Noah. And all the story of Noah is the movement from the lower mind, which is the earth, to that which is the second stage of consciousness, which is water. And you've got to be prepared to bring that duality of your nature into that ark and let it rest in the midst of the storm and the conflict that's going on within you. It's all a part of the same thing.
After facing the serpent's temptations, we move into a stage of cleansing and renewal. This is symbolized by water in the Bible, a baptism of the mind that allows us to rise above the lower desires. As we continue our journey, we reach the next stage where we are touched by fire, representing higher spiritual enlightenment. Let's now look at how these elements, water and fire, guide us toward higher consciousness.
How do you make sure that the control comes from the God side? This is the part, ice cream and chewing gum and going on vacation and messing around, different things, going to Atlantic City. This is fun part. This is life. You can't see the Alps, and you can't go to Japan, and you can't fly in a plane unless you got this. So a mark is placed. This will always exist until the end of time. Your challenge is just to understand this part has to be subjected to that part. You know what this is? This is the wife. And this is the husband. Okay? And that's what is meant, that the wife must be subjected to her husband. That which is the lower, the mind, must be subjected to that which is the spirit. Okay? So all of these things are play on words of that same thing.
While the path to enlightenment is powerful, we still live in a physical world where we experience material desires and pleasures. The key to maintaining balance is ensuring that our spiritual side remains in control, guiding us even as we enjoy the material aspects of life. The metaphor of the wife being subjected to the husband is not about gender, but about the mind submitting to the spirit. Let's explore how we can strike this balance in our everyday lives.
Everything that we've laughed about, everything we've talked about this morning is literal as far as these people in these churches are concerned. So the energy is multiplied by the splitting of the atom. Okay? Life evolves into the physical, to the mental. And now what has happened? What have you seen here in the evolution? Okay? You had that which was the physical part, which was the first in creation. And now all of a sudden you have this second part, which is the mental. And you're starting to see the evolution of humankind. You no longer just have a physical process, you now have a physical and a mental process. You have two aspects of your nature, and you see the evolution of that. Okay.
As we balance the material with the spiritual, we begin to see a shift not only within ourselves, but in humanity as a whole. The evolution from purely physical existence to one of mental and spiritual awareness is happening before our eyes. We are no longer just physical beings, we are evolving into conscious creators aware of our dual nature. Let's now explore how this evolution is transforming humanity.
There is a place within you which is filled with delight, which is filled with love, which is filled with peace. In Genesis chapter 43, okay, look at verse 4. And the glory of the Lord came into the house by way of the gate whose prospect is towards the east, to the right side. Look at verse 2. And behold, the glory of the God of Israel came from the way of the east. Why? Come on, because it's at the right side. The garden of delight. Within you there is a garden. It's a word now. Remember, we have the premise. We're not talking about literalizing anything. We're saying there is a part of you that is an entity at the right hemisphere, the creative part, which creation has tagged or termed a garden of delight. There is beauty, there is love, there is creation, there is all that is new, and it is at the right side. It is at the right hemisphere. Okay? Now this is that which is the description of what it is that we seek to return to. If you look at the 7 days of creation, basically what you're looking at is your own creation, which is the 7 chakras. From the earth to the water, to the air, to the fire, the earth being the lower mind, the water being the second stage, which is truth, the air where the soaring things fly being that which is divine consciousness, to the fire, which is the sun and the stars and all of these things which are lit, which is being that which is spiritual, to the 4th stage of consciousness. And then you get to a point where it says in Genesis 2:2, go on back onto page 2 or whatever it is, Genesis chapter 2, the interesting thing is if you look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 2, and on the 7th day, God ended his work. That's the 7th chakra. That's the place of peace.
With the realization of our evolving consciousness, we arrive at the final destination of our journey, our inner garden of delight. This sacred space within each of us is where we find peace, joy, and love. It is the culmination of all the work we've done, the balance we've achieved, and the consciousness we've awakened. Let's close by exploring this beautiful place within us, the garden of delight that waits for us.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through hidden knowledge. If you found value in today's insights, don't forget to like and share. Also, subscribe to Awakened Insight Keys. Remember, the power to transform your reality starts within you. Stay curious, stay aware, and we'll see you in the next video for more wisdom on the path to